Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from MouseSteps.com.
And this is episode number 500 of MouseSteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. We're going to be talking all about the Disneyland Hotel at Disneyland Paris today, although we did experience snow and such too. Like, we had a really great trip.
It was an amazing time.
Weeks. But MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, they do book Disneyland Paris packages for the hotels. And they can answer questions if you need them once you book with them. So check them out. And of course, they do everything else. Walt Disney World, Disneyland, the whole universe.
Lots of cruises.
Lots of all the cruises, yes.
So be sure to check out MEI Travel for a no obligation quote on their website.
Yes. And so now we are heading to the Disneyland Hotel. We were with friends, and they have a car.
That's a very fortunate thank you to our friends with the car.
And we had heard that there might be around an 8:30 opening, but we were not 100% sure on that until we received this note. And I think we arrived around 8 a.m.
A little after 8, maybe 8,
right.
8:10 or something.
And so there was a big line of cars. And what we were told by several people who work at the Disneyland Hotel is they were not expecting like everybody to show up at the same time. So,
but of course, it's opening day, and the excitement.
Plus, it's expensive, so you want to get the most for your money, right?
Well, here we are. We are arriving bright and early. We are among the first group here to check in at the Disneyland Hotel. Very exciting. And this is from another visit we actually had with our good friends Cindy and Tom, so we want to thank them.
Yes,
so we had a little extra time in the hotel. And here we are. First time seeing with our own eyes in the lobby. Very beautiful. A lot of excitement going on. I guess they had just had a special ceremony
with Natacha.
But that was not for the public at all. It was just for cast.
And so that chandelier is from the Czech Republic. Really beautiful. We met Disneyland Paris President Natacha. I don't think we've met her previously.
Never? Nope.
And then Giona, who was
We've
Disneyland
met
Paris
him many
ambassador,
times.
yes.
Good guy.
And Dylan and Jose and Jonathan. So
the new ambassadors.
Well, not Jonathan. Jonathan is
right.
like
he's
the overlord of the ambassadors.
The overlord.
Yes, and he's wonderful. So we met Mickey, who will not be meeting in the lobby no matter what the concept art shows, but he was on this day.
Yeah, and we never saw him again in the lobby, and we spent, again, four full days around the hotel.
We did see Mickey, though, in the Royal Banquet, and we will talk about that.
Correct. And here we are. We have a special area because we stayed in the deluxe level.
Well, a special concierge check-in desk. Enrica here was wonderful, amazing, and showed us...
Telling us all about our deluxe stay.
Yeah, you're already laughing. So some of the deluxe stay was great. Some of it was less than great. But
some of it didn't exist
and that's true too. So, but anyway, your Royal Fairy Tale. And when you receive this, it's really nice. They do a lot of good paper there.
Yeah, the best. Great paper.
I was hoping that they would give a little something out like a litho for opening day, but they did nothing for that, to my knowledge. So here we are at a Royal Encounter, which is something you can book 7 days in advance on the app. You do not know what princess you will get, but you booked it a total of 5 times.
Well, we had booked it well in advance.
Yeah,
we had
7 days ahead.
Right. We had one of the very first ones. This was at 9:30. The hotel only opened at 8:30. So once we attempted to check in, we went and met Ariel. She is in her new dress. Most of the princesses have brand new outfits, and the princes too.
We actually entered the hotel sometime around 9, I think. So
okay, I see.
It did not. We had to kind of rush here to get to meet Ariel. They allowed us to book 8:30 if we had wanted, so I'm not sure who could have done that. But this is such a nice area. You don't have to wait long. Again, you did it like 5 times. I think I did this at least 3 times.
Well, we were with some of our friends who are big character fans too, and so we found out once you booked the first one, you are allowed to book another time as long as it's available. And right after Ariel, we found out that the Cinderella was going to be coming, so we booked. We'll show that later on in the show, but it was very exciting again to see the princesses showing off their brand new dresses.
Right, the new costumes for the hotel exclusively, but not Jasmine yet in her new outfit.
It's not quite finished.
Right, but some of the princesses aren't here yet. Like we did not see Tiana or Rapunzel yet.
Right.
So at some point, it should be more princesses here.
Right, they will be coming. We've been told they will be coming. But I personally got to meet 5 princesses in this setting, and plenty of the classic characters, 6 classic characters, all in new outfits.
Right.
So
for
the
Royal
only
Banquet
character the entire time of the 4 days that we spent at the Disneyland Hotel that we didn't see in something new would have been Princess Jasmine.
Right, and plus the princes. Also, the princes
Correct.
have new outfits as well for the La Table de Lumiere.
Right, and we'll show a little of that. Well, that'll have to wait for the next show. There's just so much, for a hotel. There's just so much going on. It kind of reminds me of Gaylord Palms in a way. It's not just a hotel.
That's a hotel here in Kissimmee.
Yeah,
that is wonderful, and they have entertainment and such much of the year.
But this is not just a hotel. There's so much more going on, and we'll get into that.
So this is it says D Lounge. It's the Deluxe Lounge. And we didn't really know what to expect when we arrived. It was really nice. It's table service. So there's no grab and go here. You can't just, take a soda or something. Although I guess they said, once you have it, you can leave with it.
Well, I'll state right here, we spent quite a lot of time.
Yes, we did. We spent a lot of time in here.
I would say we spent more time in the Deluxe Lounge than we did in our room.
Right,
or very close to it.
Because we didn't get our final room till much later. So we will talk about that. So we showed here first at 11 something a.m. Oh, we're seeing breakfast,
right?
Which is
I'm putting it
the
in
next day.
Kind of like in order that makes sense, but not necessarily the order that we did it.
Because breakfast on the first day of your stay is not included.
Right.
Tea time is and drinks are. So at 11 a.m. you can show up for drinks, and you can be in there all day long if you want. Which we pretty much did. And
we did that because we didn't have a room for much of the time.
Right. So anyway, this is what breakfast looks like. And I thought, okay, so we have been now to Chuckwagon. I got to say, this is much nicer than Chuckwagon.
Oh, not even compare. It's not in the same galaxy. I mean, this was a wonderful breakfast. Really, anything that I would normally want for a breakfast, just about
almost
was available, and it was
all
very good. It was all fresh and good, and they also would make you cappuccino or coffee or whatever you wanted. The hot chocolate
was so good,
and it's all included.
With the deluxe room.
With the Deluxe Lounge. The only additional fee is if you wanted alcohol or some kind of specialty item.
Right, because club level at the Disneyland Hotel or any Disney hotel does not include alcohol. So we're just looking still at
and you're talking about France because it does include alcohol in the U.S.
Well, I mean the Disneyland Paris.
Yes.
All of the Disneyland Paris club level lounges don't include it. So right now we're just looking at the various items. It includes nuts and croissants, and everything is very high quality. And we saw pictures of the Royal Banquet breakfast, and it looked very much the same as far as the quality, and that costs about 45 euros per person.
Wow, so 90 euros for two.
It would have been for
the two of us
maybe
to have breakfast.
And maybe a discount with our
Annual,
Infinity Pass, yes. So, I mean, you have the pain au chocolat, you have croissants, and so many other items, and also a hot area, which we'll show, and then also bread, and more bread. You're in France, so it's all about the bread. And then you have crepes, and these are little waffles with crowns on them.
Very royal-looking waffles.
And then I didn't even, for some reason, even though I photographed them, I did not notice the pancakes. You have porridge, you have eggs, you have those little potatoes that are on every single breakfast buffet.
That is very true.
And I'm so annoyed by them now.
By the way,
I don't want to see them all the time.
I know you probably don't like it, but the egg Florentine, delicious. That was also something very good. And all different
crispy
types.
Bacon.
Yeah, crispy bacon.
And
not always available in France.
Right. And you've got tomatoes. You've got
beans for our British friends.
Well, I was going to say, actually, this is the full English right there, except it's scrambled eggs, and I don't think a full English necessarily comes with scrambled. So
we'll ask our friends to tell us in the comments. I would like to know that.
I actually looked it up.
Oh, you already cheated.
So, and then little jars of Nutella and such. So I thought it was a very nice breakfast. It was, while tea time I thought was a little less than I expected, breakfast was a little more than I expected.
And I mentioned that you get drinks. You have freshly squeezed orange
It's so
juice.
dark outside.
Well, because we went early.
I know, but
Look at my cappuccino. Very nice. Nice topping there.
It looks like nighttime right now looking at that. Like in Florida, it doesn't get as early, or it gets light earlier right now.
One of our friends actually had to go to work.
Yes.
So we went, and I'm glad we went early because we got to see the buffet in very show quality.
And I was asked, I was not asked. I asked the server, what is the brand of the hot chocolate? I was told Lavazza, which surprised me because Mambana is what's used. It's in the room. It's like at the Sequoia Lodge in the Golden Forest the last time I looked. So I was surprised at that. But it was really good. The funny thing is the morning it was like this deep, rich chocolate where it hadn't been when I had it the previous day. It was just sort of a regular hot chocolate.
So there are 3 balconies in the Deluxe Lounge, and you're welcome to go outside if you want. It was a little chilly, but of course we had to go out. So I'm showing sort of a pan from all 3 balconies and a beautiful view of Fantasia Gardens here, which has been renewed over the years, so it looks very, very nice.
The day before, I think it had been raining out, so it wouldn't have been possible for us. At least one of the days we were in there, it was
raining.
Through
the magic of editing,
yes.
We are looking at it during its best. So it's not all accurate to timing, as I said earlier, but it's a really nice overview of what you can do with the Deluxe Lounge.
Right. I mean, if you want to see the other side, you have to go to the Castle Club. So now we are looking at tea time, and we did tea time twice. I thought the second day was better. I think the first day, it felt like it wasn't quite ready.
Well, let me jump in here.
We showed up a little later.
We showed up before they opened, so I was actually allowed to go and record the tea time offerings just before they opened it to the rest of the lounge. So they had a lot more offerings. Now, of course, hour or two into tea time, things will have been eaten and maybe not quite replaced yet.
But they still had croissants and such, which I don't remember them having the first day, maybe just kind of left over from breakfast.
I love these cakes, though. Very beautiful.
But you don't take from the cake, you take the little items. And there was no sign saying, okay, this is what they are.
I bet people do take it from the cake by the end.
Oh, that's possible. And they had a nice selection of fruit, oranges and such. But, everything's in like little tiny containers. So you have a little tiny
many little plates. Yes, many little.
Tiny little tastes. And so I don't recall them having croissants the first day. But it felt like breakfast over here. And I thought that was that was very nice.
It was a nice bonus.
Yes. And this was actually the second day because it looked better the second day. Mm-hmm. We were on our way to La Table de Lumiere. So we ended up eating a little something before dinner.
Just a little. A little nosh.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the little pizza bites here.
And so there's a little bit of hot items, but not a lot. Like and these are like little quiches. There was nothing on the side for me. That looked of interest.
I enjoyed the sandwich and the shrimp and the crab. So for me, the tea time was very good. And the cheese, I enjoyed that too.
They had these little bits of pasta, which I liked.
So I hope you're hungry because after seeing all that food, it's time to go to the Royal Banquet.
Yes, the Royal Banquet is a character meal. It's where Inventions was. And you get 4 characters, which during our visit, it was Mickey, Minnie, Donald and Daisy for lunch, and then if you went for dinner, you would have, instead of Donald and Daisy, you would have Goofy and Pluto.
Now, we were first seated here in the villains room, but one of our friends suggested that maybe we move to the main room, which has a little bit better lighting and more room for the characters. And that was a very good call because it was much more open, much better. But we're going to still have a little tour because this was unique seeing, all the villains in the paintings here.
Well, and different types of villains. You know, it's not like they just have like the Queen of Hearts and Prince John. They have King Candy. So, you don't expect to have King Candy and of course King Magnifico from Wish.
Yeah, very new.
Yes.
And of course, the classic, the Queen there.
Yes, Evil Queen.
So now we're going to look at the buffet, and I just want to mention the buffet for me was wonderful. I'm a big seafood fan. There's quite a bit of seafood, but if you aren't a seafood fan,
like me, I'm not.
Denise, I will let you continue on what you think about it as far as food, only the food portion of the buffet.
For me, it's pretty average. There's other buffets like Agrabah, which I prefer for food. but I mean, it's not like I can't find anything. Obviously, it's a big buffet. You have, salads. So I had salad. I had a little meat and some vegetables. They had nice potatoes, not like those breakfast potatoes. And so, there's plenty. But if you're a seafood person, it's going to be more for you.
It's very much reminds me of, and you'll see here, look at that display of seafood, very much like at Newport Bay.
Yes.
Do you remember the name of the restaurant at Newport where we had?
Cape Cod.
That's it, the Cape Cod.
Very
similar.
Right. You have here the crab claws, and there's a couple types of shrimp. Now,
Langoustines. Let's not forget the langoustines.
It's funny because in the promo photo from Disneyland Paris, they show lobsters, like full-size lobsters.
Yes, full-size red lobsters. But they kind of shrunk down to langoustines.
But you liked them.
I loved them. I had never had them
in
my life. And I ended up, but thanks again to our good friends Cindy and Tom, we were able to go back. And I ate quite a few of those langoustines. And delicious.
They are in the lobster family, but they're not full-size lobsters, so don't expect that. And here comes
I have
Mickey
been distracted while I was recording the buffet. Royalty has entered the building.
And these are special outfits just for the Disneyland Hotel and really just for the Royal Banquet, although you will see them walking around outside the Royal Banquet to and from, Mickey and Minnie to and from their, wherever they're going.
And it was very exciting because it was the first time they arrived ever at a public, a public buffet here. So it was their very first entrance. So very exciting.
And they have like meat. I don't know if they call them meatballs here, but stuff like that. And you can see again, there's like potatoes and chicken. I think the second day it was better for the chicken, and then they have ham. There's like a couple different kinds of ham, and
But you're not a ham.
I don't eat ham either. So.
Yeah, there's limited for you.
For me, limited.
Because I know you would normally like pasta. You would normally like some pizza.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And that was not...
I actually
look, for me, you have sushi there. You have like nice, New Orleans style...
What about chicken curry? There's like so many different types of items you could have that I would eat. So for me, it was very average.
So here's the main room where we were dining. This is where we dined again the second time on our stay with our Tom and Cindy stay a few days later.
And here is Donald. And Donald, he's very still nautical.
Yes.
A little royal nautical thing going on here.
I think they did a great job with all the costumes, but I especially like Donald's. I like his shoes. The whole ensemble is very Donald.
Yes. And we had, so let's say you are toward the end and there's like nobody around. Like we saw some of the characters a lot. Not all, but like on our second day, and I'm just saying this while our second visit.
Yes,
right?
the one on the
I came into the room and Mickey's like talking with Cindy.
Sitting at the table
in your chair. He's in my chair, and like
I don't know if Mickey was talking.
Essentially, she was talking.
She was talking to Mickey, and he was
we had them, Mickey and Minnie, for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like. It was like, where does this happen?
It was amazing. And then they proceeded to walk around the restaurant and point out all the artwork. I mean, if you look at the video, it ended up being almost 10 minutes solid with the characters, with just our group. The four of us on that second visit.
Second day. It was, and we haven't shown all of the video yet. So anyway, here is Daisy. She's got a crown. She very much likes to do the whole catwalk thing, and she's showing off her skirt and her
Daisy, of
shoes,
course.
And and you can see also the artwork behind her. So you have the various, still like all around the room, the portrait gallery in all of the rooms.
Well, again, this is, we want to thank our professional character friends here for suggesting this, because what a great backdrop, much more room, great lighting.
The lighting was great.
And so glad we ended up going into this area.
And we have Donald and Daisy here. And at some character buffets, they're not like allowed to almost meet, and you can't get pictures of both of them. But we were able to do it if it wasn't busy. Doesn't mean that it's going to continue like that, but we were really fortunate to have a little bit of that.
Yeah, and no problem with posing with the two.
I was very surprised at that.
Yeah, I even saw people posing with all four.
This is really the best, because Disneyland Paris often hasn't been great with character buffets, and that includes like the Plaza restaurant, where you might not get a character, or you might be up at the buffet for a second and then you miss them and then you don't get to see them at all. As far as organization, and that's really the main thing, and we were asked, did you see?
That's right.
Did you see all the characters?
And that's how it usually is here in the U.S., where they want to make sure, have you seen Donald? Have you seen Daisy? Before they close it out for the last time, they want to make sure everybody has seen. And that's great. I think that's great that they've come to this.
The 2 character meals here were very well organized when we went. And this is on a first day when not everything was perfect. They did a very good job.
Yep. So now we're going to see... there's Mickey giving you a nice hug, and have we seen Minnie?
And here's Minnie coming, and by this time we saw Minnie like 5 times on this day. Mickey only maybe 2 or 3 times, and then Donald and Daisy were like throughout the room all the time.
And I do want to mention another thing: absolutely no rush. I mean, this is not a cheap meal. This is €100 per person.
Or €50 for kids.
Yes. And you also, by the way, they do offer a discount with your annual pass.
But they did not on the first day. They did not on the first day.
But they did allow for a cast member discount on the first day. So that was good.
But now, on the second time we went, they did ask if we had the annual pass holder discount.
Right. For both character meals. But... I really like the fact that there's absolutely no rush. Towards the second time we dined here, we were a little bit later starting, and so that means we were kind of around towards the end. At no point were we rushed or asked to hurry. Matter of fact, we were told, take your time, enjoy, no hurry. So I thought that was excellent service. We had really great service.
However, the line could get really long for food. There was a point where I'm photographing the buffet. There's like nobody around. This is, just after it opened. And within like 5 minutes, I went back to the table, and then I went to go get food, and the line was crazy. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then the second day they reversed the buffet the second time we went. And then they put cheese in another room, and they didn't even tell you put cheese. I don't eat cheese, but I noticed it.
So while we're talking about the lines, I do want to mention these desserts were wonderful.
I like that one that looks like a king cake. That was my favorite.
Cake,
no, it isn't.
But it looks like it. And the Tiana one, the rose also was delicious. I think they were very creative, and I really enjoyed the dessert selection.
And I actually was not as big a fan of the desserts here because I don't like a lot of stuff in my dessert. Like, I don't want jellies in my dessert, and those who do will love these.
Yeah, everything has a little surprise.
Right, it's
There's a surprise in all of it.
Yeah, almost everything. Like, the Sword in the Stone dessert looks like it could be just like hazelnut or a nice chocolate or vanilla, but it's like jam or something, and it's like everything has like jam in it, and I don't like jam and chocolate and such together. I like them separate.
You need to upgrade your palate.
I don't have to.
But anyway, getting back to what you were talking about as far as the lines and crowd control and all that, we do have to remember that it was the very first day yes. and the first buffet, and just like the hotel, everybody wanted to be there at the same time to check in.
But some friends were like, don't you remember Inventions had that long line too? And I said, I don't even remember that. We spent so much time just sitting, waiting for characters.
Right, that's very true.
Like the whole time. So I don't remember that. We did go to Inventions a number of times and really enjoyed that. But you could have at that point like 10 characters.
So my overall thing, though, I loved it. I was happy that we got to do it twice. Mm-hmm. It was delightful and just a wonderful experience to meet all these great characters in a pretty easygoing manner. And for me, the food was great.
Mm-hmm. And some guests just kind of wait in the hallway for them.
Very much like the old days, just like the old days. Now, after we dined, we actually went back to the lounge mm-hmm. because our room still wasn't ready.
Right, almost 4 p.m. is when we ended up getting this first room. So
this was our first attempt at the room. It was after 4. This is the
this is a frozen, right?
Deluxe frozen room. So we're going to take a brief look at that. We're going to look at some of the decor and also the view of our first room, and then we're going to go and take a look at the final version afterwards.
So we were originally told within an hour or so we should have a room, which was
about 10 a.m.
Right, it would have been about 10 a.m. But for some reason that one didn't pan out. We didn't get that room. We ended up with this room, which looked fine at first, but we had some like missing magic and the view wasn't great. Like there was a number of things wrong with it.
The main reason that for me, we asked to have a different room is, you're paying a lot of money and you expect everything to work. And I know there's supposed to be a magic effect, and only half of that worked. So, I think we should have the full magic.
Yeah, of course.
And there were other issues too. It wasn't the best view, and we're going to see about that, what we're talking about in a minute.
And there were things that we found out that we didn't have, like items in the refrigerator you're supposed to have with any room. And also we didn't end up with turn down service in any, with the rooms.
Right.
And
I could have lived with this less than stellar view if everything worked. But
yes.
It really, for me, the clincher was having the magic be broken.
And actually, if we took the chairs and looked this way,
right.
I don't even know why I took the terrace. Honestly, in January, I was like, oh, a terrace sounds great. But our friends Tom and Cindy had a superior family room, which we'll talk about in another show. And I thought their view was so good. And location was good. This is much more out of the way, and they didn't, it took us like 8 minutes to get to the lobby.
And obviously they had just been wrapping up construction there. So I'm hoping by now they've got some landscaping in, and things are a little nicer looking for those rooms.
And anyway, you're just showing how you press a button and then they're supposed to work. Like Olaf on the right-hand side would be working, but in this case, Elsa wouldn't be. But
it would normally have Elsa doing her thing first,
right.
And it would kind of interact back and forth with Olaf, and then it would end with Olaf and then lighting. But anyway, we'll show a working version in our Sleeping Beauty room. Between getting the replacement room, we decided we're going to do another character, and of course we're back in the kids club area. That's where the character meet and greet is, and we're about to meet Cinderella.
And there's never really a wait for the characters. At least for us, we never waited more than a few minutes once we had a reservation.
Right.
So here is Cinderella. You've got still that backdrop, and also in the carpet you have various symbols, like you can see the castle, and then there's like a slipper and various items, just like in the carpets for the rooms.
Yeah, all the princesses are represented in the artwork. I see an apple for Snow White, and you have a shell for Ariel. All sorts of
Sleeping Beauty. You've got the wheel, and so yeah, it's actually really nicely done. And you see books and they're all fake books. Just fake books everywhere.
Yeah. It really, you can tell that Belle had a little bit to do with the decorating with all the books around. And we did get to meet Belle. We met Belle twice, by the way, in this location.
Right.
We also met Snow White, and we met Princess Jasmine. Many princesses were out. We did not meet Aurora in this room, but we did meet her in the lobby. So a lot of times the princesses were just kind of roaming and doing meet and greets.
Right. I mean, we met the various characters in various locations. I was not in here 5 times like you were, because I was sort of holding down the fort waiting for a room in the Deluxe Lounge.
You were holding all of our
yes.
You come. It's winter, so you have jackets. You have all this stuff with you.
Backpack,
it's a long time with all your stuff to not have a place to put down. Anyway, it's now nighttime. You could see it's dark in the background of the lobby. We had just gone to see the electric sky parade, which was amazing.
It was amazing.
The Main Street Sky Parade
with the drones, 500 drones in the Disneyland Park, which was incredible and so worth it. So we're across the hall, literally across the hall. So I don't know why we didn't get this one to begin with. So this was our new room, which was much better because things worked.
Everything worked, yes.
Yeah, and the view was a little bit better. You could hear some music. And
the view was much better.
Right,
much better.
You still saw a little mud and everything, but still you saw
it was better at night.
It was really good at night.
It was delightful at night.
But it was not bad during the day.
No, it was good.
So you have princess, or you've got the fairy godmothers in one portrait, which we'll talk about, and then Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip. It's a very similar room, same colors, same no drinks and stuff in the refrigerator, same no turn down service.
Well, but all that stuff, I'm sure, has been addressed. Again, this was the very first night. So anytime you do something on the first night, you're always taking a chance on things not working out.
But a couple days later, Cindy and Tom in their superior room,
that's why it was superior.
Superior, right. That's what, before we left, I'm like, I don't think Disneyland Paris knows what superior means, because that should be the best is superior.
No, as I was saying, sometimes on a first day,
I know.
things aren't. But there are other times it's a trade-off. Sometimes when you go at the first of something, it's
Even
really
better.
great.
Right.
An example of that would be there were so many princesses and characters roaming around during the day, but that could get scaled back. So that's something that is maybe better at an opening, you know? So you just never know what you're going to get with these things.
Correct. And so here is the Lavazza coffee maker. You have a kettle, especially for you probably use a kettle.
If I had more time, I would have certainly tried all of this stuff out, but it was almost time for sleep.
And then it was. I was really tired. So we have the Manbana hot chocolate. You've got special teas and the Lavazza coffees. You've got a desk here, which we really didn't use very much. And then the services, including a pillow menu. I was too tired to be using a pillow menu.
Yeah, that by the way, that paper item display, there was a lot of good stuff in there. I love the Rapunzel mirror. They are fantastic. They were selling a smaller version up in the store. They sold out very quick, but I think popular. They were replenished. Oh, look at that guy. I didn't even notice.
And those were 69 euros, so I don't know what kind of quality for 69 euros, but they look nice enough. And people love them.
And our name is right there, family.
Yes.
But that was, I asked about that, and they said, "Oh, they all say family."
But that isn't the case. That is
a not true statement.
Well, and maybe they didn't know.
Right. When our friends were in the deluxe room, it did have their personalized name on it.
Except then it changed to somebody else's name.
Well,
so I don't know what that was about. But you know what? It's early days. So, but anyway. Do you see Elsa? There is Elsa and Olaf doing the thing they're supposed to be doing in our other room.
Well, there you go. But the TV was very nice. It's like a mirror that also turns into a TV, so I quite like that. Now we're going to take a look outside. It's a little dark here. This is the first time we're seeing our balcony.
Our terrace. Because they don't have...
Terrace, I should say.
Yeah, they didn't have balconies to choose
and you can't hear it here, but in the real life, there's really nice music that is coming from Fantasia Gardens. So this was for me a big improvement. I didn't realize at the time that it still had that roadway with the mud there.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad on this side,
right.
And the music was nice, and to be able to see a little of the Disneyland Hotel was nice.
Yeah, we left the door open to hear the music, before bed. So
even though it was cold out and everything, and I sat outside here for a few minutes because I just wanted to, enjoy the terrace for a little bit, and it was nice to hear the music.
So there's a lot more to see in the room. Let's continue our tour.
And I just want to say, I wish that there was more storage space, and we're only here for a night. But even there was a couple places I wanted to put something and it was hard to find. If you're a family of 2 or 4 and you're staying here for 3 or 4 nights, you might want a lot more storage space. And this is a big room. They could certainly find some areas to do that.
Here is the refrigerator.
Empty. So
it's supposed to have
three waters, a nectar, and then there were 3 snacks. That's what our friends got. And that was what we were supposed to receive. And when I went to go time the walk to the lobby a couple days later, I saw cast members coming around with those items in the deluxe area.
So we're taking a look at the slippers, which were very comfortable. I did indeed use those when we went swimming in the next morning. And also we're looking at the robes, very nice Disneyland Hotel robes.
Which we did use to go to the Crystal Pool the next day.
Yes.
And let me say, at least right now, the Clarins, the shampoo and conditioner and all that, way better than what's in the room. So if you're down there anyway going swimming, take your shower down there as long as they keep using that. It was amazing.
Now, you mentioned about space. It's interesting. A lot of times you'll pull out a drawer.
And something will be...
And in that case, that's where the safe was. Right. So it looks like there's drawers, but they're actually occupied.
And one of the things I love about Europe is the towel racks. And I don't know, does that one heat? Because
yes, it did. Yeah. I used it for our bathing suits. Quick dry.
The heated towel racks, I love them. And that's not something I've really seen here in America. And we use it all the time over at the Relais Spa.
So now we'll take a look at the toiletries.
And I thought there would be more, especially being in club level. It was something I was really looking forward to, thinking that there would be upgraded amenities. But they have a lotion, which I have not tried. There's a little drawer here. It has a toothbrush and a bonnet for the shower, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's a little soap. And then when you go into the shower, this isn't H2O products. It's just, I don't know if there's a brand to it or if it's something that Disneyland Paris makes itself. Like, I
did
have no
use
idea.
them all. I thought
They were fine.
They were very nice,
but
I
not
thought.
as nice as the Clarence in the.
Well, you're spoiled by the pool.
Oh
yes.
my gosh! In that shower was incredible. So, but they were fine.
So Denise's advice is save your shower for the pool.
Yes, but if you're already in the pool like you were,
Yes.
go to that shower.
Had I known it was so spectacular,
Yes.
I would not have come back to the room for my shower.
Like, I wouldn't have left the room just for a shower down there. I just,
And we were looking at some of the detail in the room here. We have a Little Mermaid themed mirror. And this is what you mentioned earlier, the heat rack there where I hung up our bathing suits. It was a quick dry, so it really worked very well.
And then you open the door here and then you have your toilet. So, you could have, there's a tub, and then again, like, you just open the door for the toilet.
I
so you
didn't
have a couple
show
people in
the
there.
full detail of the toilet, but there's a phone in there, so I could call you.
You could call
What a great call. Is that long distance to
for
call?
pillows. Call for pillows. So anyway, one of my favorite items in the whole room was this little notebook with pen.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
You did love that.
And Cindy and Tom gave me theirs too, so now I have two of them.
How lucky.
I am lucky because I really liked it.
Now, let's talk about the magic here. So here,
Yay,
there's a little
magic.
button that kind of has that magical icons on it. You're going to hit that button.
Did we
and
say what time
you're
this
going
is?
to
This
get
is
40 seconds of magic.
and so we arrived at 8:30 a.m. or actually earlier than 8:30 a.m. to the Disneyland Hotel, and this is about 8 p.m. that we got this room.
So now we're looking at a sort of a wide shot here of the magic. We're going to see it much better up close, but you're kind of looking the colors, like all the different lamps change colors. The thing up on the ceiling there changed
The
color.
canopy.
The
And
canopy.
it's not just these lamps. And
yeah,
they're like
all
pink
around
and
everywhere
blue.
in the room.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that the different lamps do different colors depending on the room, but we didn't have a lot of experience with that with the other rooms. So it was like pink and then blue and pink and blue.
Which makes perfect
yes,
sense.
that's what I'm saying is maybe they all do different ones.
Oh, I'm sure that's the case. So now we'll take a closer look at the various magics. Here we have the fairies. You can see it much better from the shot.
And I thought that was nice, like they're just sort of lighting off their wands. And then after this, we're going to go and look at Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip.
Now, we were supposed to get a turn down service at some point in the evening, maybe because we checked in after 8, around 8:30 or so. Maybe we missed the turn down, or maybe there was just no turn down this night.
I just feel like they didn't necessarily know we were down in that area. So that's how I feel.
It was very remote.
It was remote, but also we didn't have anything in the fridges or anything. So I just feel... So anyway, here is Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip. And I thought, again, I think it's a nice effect. This room cost several $100s or several €100 more than the other one. I'm not sure if it's always, like 300 more. But I feel like if you have a family and everybody's having breakfast and everybody's having tea time.
I think it's an extra 100 for the
terrace.
The terrace.
Terrace was not necessarily worth it. Maybe
certainly not in the winter.
No.
With the view you
no,
might get.
I wouldn't choose it in the winter again.
Anyway, we'll have a lot more to talk about. We have 3 more days at the Disneyland Hotel, thanks to our good friends Cindy and Tom.
And our another friends as well.
That's
I won't
right.
use their names. But I just wanted to mention also, on this night, our friends had put our suitcases into their car for the entire day, thankfully. And we had little bottles of alcohol, just little bottles of wine, 4 tiny bottles of wine,
like
one for each.
Very tiny,
really
like individual,
tiny.
very
Yes.
small.
And so you can only bring in 2 bottles per suitcase. And it doesn't matter if there's 4 bottles in one suitcase. It doesn't matter the size. And, 0 in the other. And they did not know there was they thought we were going to have these huge.
Quite comical.
So they had to open the suitcases up, move the 2 bottles.
And of course I had locks on the suitcases. Quite the
it was
extravaganza.
But anyway,
these are like 4 ounces, by the way. But we learned, so we told our friends.
I don't think they're 4, but maybe like 6 or something.
Very low.
Yes.
So what we learned, we told our good friends Cindy and Tom. So they decided to bring champagne and beer, giant bottles. Giant. So each bag had 4 giant bottles, which we helped empty.
No, but
so that was very good.
Instead of like a small 6-pack, like they brought a giant bottle of beer. And
But this is, but honestly, this is great advice, because let's say that you have just, you started your vacation in Paris, or you did you bought some, expensive wines or something, and you have this in your luggage. You had better make sure that I don't know I don't know what happened. What if you have 3? Like, what happens? Do they hold it somewhere?
Like, does it count like a backpack? Does a backpack? Can I bring 2 little bottles in a backpack? I have no idea.
I've never heard of such a thing.
No, like this is totally new to me. So anyway, 2 per suitcase. Not sure on the backpack. Not sure if you have like 3 suitcases. If that means you can bring 6 items in. Like, I have no idea. That was a big surprise. Anyway, that was something. And you might want to check with the hotel.
But we'll have a lot more, much more. I mean, we're already 40 minutes in, and we're just getting started. We'll have multiple more shows to continue this.
But we're going on a cruise.
We are going on a cruise. So anyway, that is another show. Again, we'll talk much more about this coming up. That is another show. We want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Check them out if you're looking to book Disneyland Paris for a package, which most Disneyland Paris hotels are booked as a package with tickets. Check them out. Or if you're looking for Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, Walt Disney World, they've been in business for around 20 years, and they can help you with wherever you're wanting to go. Royal Caribbean, Princess Cruises, any cruises, Carnival.
Experts, real, true experts. So again, we mentioned next week will be part 2. Eventually, we're going to be talking about our upcoming Princess Cruise. We're very much looking forward to doing that, starting tomorrow.
Yes.
And then there's just so much from the trip to the 2 weeks we just had in France. A lot to talk about. Oh, the snow.
That was like my favorite
so
thing.
much. I mean, it was really one of the best trips. Amazing.
Rosalie, we ate at Rosalie all the time, which is new at Disney Village, which is amazing.
And honestly, the Disneyland Hotel experience was great, except for
the room part.
Like, if you took the room part out, everything else was outstanding.
Yes.
All the dining, the cast members, the service. It was just really... And this theme continued on the second day. It was really the room that was what was lacking.
I think shopping also we'll talk about. Like, shopping.
Shopping also.
There were some issues. Plus, they could use more items like, I think, ears,
right.
spirit jersey.
There's a few challenges with that, yes.
There's a few. So, but overall, I thought it was overall, we really enjoyed it.
So thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.